Welcome to the OF or Optional Form 306. This is completed by applicants who are under consideration for federal or federal contract employment. It collects information about an applicant's selective service registration, military service, and general background. It is a very short form, but it's important to fill it out accurately and correctly and completely. Ensure your yes means yes and your no means no. We're going to walk you through the form and help you understand how to better use it, complete it, and if you're in a position to review it and ensure that it is filled out correctly. So, wanted to highlight a few things. This form is an official form. It must be filled out accurately and completely, as I mentioned earlier. There are penalties for not filling this out completely. So there's a few things that I want to bring to your attention. One is if you are filling out the OF 306 and you are also providing citizenship information and completing the SF 85 or the SF 86. Want to give you a warning here. Make sure your OF 306 cross references to those other forms you're filling out. For example, if there's debt information on here, or if there is military experience listed, make sure they cross reference. Make sure you use your full legal name and the same information that is on your citizenship document and your SF 85 or SF 86 matches what you're going to put on this form. You may be filling this form out before you fill out the SF 85 or 86. So make sure you fill out this form the same way you plan to fill those out with full and accurate information. So let's go through the form real quick and see what we can learn here. All right, so I've made a few notes here. So the first note is we need your full name as it appears on official government documents, your passport, birth certificate, anything like that. Additionally, you may be asked to complete that SF 85 or 86 as we talked about earlier. Just make sure that the name you use here matches the name on all of your official government documents. If you changed your name, make sure that name change reflects on those other documents and that your accurate and full name appears here. Social security number is self-explanatory. Just make sure it matches your name. The place of birth must match the place of birth that you find on your identification information, such as your passport, your SF-85 that you'll be filling out, and your citizenship information. For example, your birth certificate or that passport as mentioned earlier. Are you a citizen? Mark yes or no. If no, provide that country you are a citizen of. And again, the date of birth in the right format, month, day, and year, and that it matches your passport and other federal identification documents. Any other names you've used before? Maybe you're married, you would put your maiden name there, or any nicknames you used. Include your phone numbers. Selective service registration. Everybody must fill out Part 7A. Were you a male born before December 31st, 1959? If you're a male, mark yes. If you're not a male, mark no, and then proceed to number 8. But if you are a male, you must select in 7B whether or not you've registered with the Selective Service. Check yes if you have. If not, you must put a reason and go to 7C. If no, you need to go to item 16, and we'll discuss that block a little bit later. But for any of these items that require an explanation, that will go in item number 16. All right, military service. You must mark either yes if you've had military service or no if you've never served in the military. This has to be marked. If there is a yes here, mark all the branches you've served in and the dates that you've served and the types of discharge that you have. Now, all of the next questions must be answered yes or no. Again, sometimes you may be filling out the OF 306 as part of a background investigation. That's why it's important. I'm just going to take a break here to iterate the importance of filling this form accurately and completely. For questions 9 through 11, your answers should include convictions resulting from a plea of no contest, but omit traffic fines of $300 or less, or any violation of the law committed before your 16th birthday, or any violation of the law committed before your 18th birthday, if finally decided in juvenile court under a youth offender law, or any conviction set aside under the Federal Youth Corrections Act or similar state law. And finally, any convictions for which the record was expunged under federal or state law. Be sure to ask questions of the people requiring you to complete this form. Now, questions 9 through 11. During the last 7 years, have you been convicted, imprisoned, on probation, or been on parole? You must answer yes or no to this question. If you answer yes, go to item 16. Question 10. Have you been convicted by a military court-martial in the past 7 years? If you've had no military service, obviously the answer will be no. Mark no. If you've had military service and you have not been convicted, mark no. If you've had military service and you've been convicted in a military court-martial in the past 7 years, answer yes. Number 11, are you currently under charges for any violation of the law? Any charges, any violation, click yes. None? Click no. If yes, fill out item 16. The next question. During the last 5 years, have you ever been fired from a job for any reason? Did you quit after being told you would be fired? Did you leave any job by mutual agreement because of specific problems? Or were you debarred from federal employment by the Office of Personnel Management or any other federal agency? Now, if any of these have occurred, put yes. You'll have your reason to explain in block 16. You must select yes because if an investigator goes to your place of employment or former place of employment and they indicate otherwise, then there will be an issue with your background investigation. So mark yes if yes or no if no. Question 13, are you delinquent on any federal debt? This includes delinquencies arising from federal taxes, loans, overpayment of benefit, and any other debt to the U.S. government, plus default of federally guaranteed or insured loans such as a student or home mortgage loan. If yes, select. If no, select no. If yes, complete an explanation in item 16. Additional questions. Again, additional questions must be answered. Do any of your relatives work for the agency or government organization to which you are submitting this form? All right, so you might have relatives in this list who work for a government agency, but the question is, are they working for the agency that you are submitting to? For example, if they work for the Department of Energy and you're submitting this for the Department of Defense, you would select no. If you were working for the Department of Defense and they work for an agency of that Department of Defense, then you would select yes. If you answer yes, you would go to item 16. Do you receive or have you ever applied for retirement pay, pension, and or retired pay based on military, federal, civilian, or District of Columbia service? If yes, answer yes. If no, answer no. If yes, you can explain here in item 16. Once you're complete, you must sign it. Be sure to put your name and the date, and then you are done. Once you get complete, submit it to the people requesting this. So that is the OF 306 from top to bottom. Again, if you have any questions, be sure to ask the agency personnel. Ask those questions so you can get them answered before you turn in this form and have issues with your background check or your hiring actions.